The 2010 Winter Olympics, officially known as the XXI Olympic Winter Games and also known as Vancouver 2010, were an international winter multi-sport event held from February 12 to 28, 2010 in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, with some events held in the surrounding suburbs of Richmond, West Vancouver, and the University of British Columbia, and in the nearby resort town of Whistler. It was regarded by the Olympic Committee to be among the most successful Olympic Games in history, in both attendance and coverage. Approximately 2,600 athletes from 82 nations participated in 86 events in 15 disciplines. Both the Winter Olympic and Paralympic Games were organized by the Vancouver Organizing Committee, headed by John Furlong. The 2010 Winter Games were the third Olympics to be hosted by Canada, and the first to be held within the province of British Columbia. Canada had previously hosted the 1976 Summer Olympics in Montreal, Quebec, and the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary, Alberta. Following Olympic tradition, incumbent Vancouver Mayor Sam Sullivan received the Olympic flag during the closing ceremony of the 2006 Winter Olympics in Turin, Italy. The flag was raised in a special ceremony on February 28, 2006, and was on display at Vancouver City Hall until the Vancouver opening ceremony. The event was officially opened by Governor-General Michael Jean, accompanied by the Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper and International Olympic Committee President Jacques Rogge. Vancouver 2010 was immensely successful, with the official Olympic Committee press release citing full venues, record public attendance. Over 97% of the 1.54 million tickets available were sold, with 71% to the Canadian public at an average price of $139. Adding in international public ticket sales, the percentage of ticket sales to the public exceeds 75% of all available tickets. Vancouver 2010 also achieved record global television coverage as per the Olympic Committee, more than double the viewership of the preceding Turin 2006 Games and triple the available coverage of Salt Lake City 2002. And is recognized in numerous post-Games reports as being among the most widely viewed and well-received games in Olympic history, both in Canada and internationally. Vancouver 2010's gold medal final between Canada and USA was the most watched hockey game ever with viewership of 114 million viewers around the world. For the first time, Canada won gold in an official sport as the host nation of the Olympics, having failed to do so in 1976 and 1988. Canada clinched their first gold medal on the second day of the competition, first topping the gold medal tally on the second-to-last day of competition, and went on to become the first host nation since Norway in 1952 to lead the gold medal count. Canada broke the record for the most gold medals won at a single Winter Olympics, which was previously set by the Soviet Union in 1976 and Norway in 2002. The United States won the most medals in total, marking their second time doing so at the Winter Olympics, and broke the record for the most medals won during the Winter Games, a record held until then by Germany in 2002. Athletes from Slovakia and Belarus won the first Winter Olympic gold medals for their nations. Bidding process. The new IOC bidding process was approved at the 134th IOC session on June 24, 2019 in Lausanne, Switzerland. The key proposals, driven by the relevant recommendations from Olympic Agenda 2020, are: establish a permanent, ongoing dialogue to explore and create interest among cities/regions/countries and national Olympic committees for any Olympic event. Create 2 future host commissions to oversee interest in future Olympic events and report to the IOC Executive Board. Give the IOC session more influence by having non-executive board members form part of the future host commissions. The IOC also modified the Olympic Charter to increase its flexibility by removing the date of election from 7 years before the Games, and changing the host from a single city/region/country to multiple cities, regions, or countries. Future host winter commissions. The full composition of the winter commissions, overseeing interested hosts or with potential hosts where the IOC may want to focus on, is as follows. Dialogue stages. According to the Future Host Commission's Rules of Conduct, the new IOC bidding system is divided into 2 dialogue stages. Continuous dialogue, non-committal discussions between the IOC and interested parties with regard to hosting future Olympic events. Targeted dialogue, targeted discussions with one or more interested parties, as instructed by the IOC Executive Board. This follows a recommendation by the Future Host Commission as a result of continuous dialogue. Bidding parties. The 3 first potential submitting bidding parties were revealed by Octavian Moreau, the chair of the Future Host Winter Commission, during the 135th IOC session at the Swiss Stech Convention Center in Lausanne, Switzerland. He mentioned Salt Lake City of the United States, Sapporo of Japan, and a joint bid from the Spanish cities of Barcelona and Zaragoza at the Pyrenees region have conducted feasibility studies. But later, on 2022, Spain bid withdrew. Vancouver, Canada, made a preliminary bid submission in February 2021. Stakeholders. Stakeholders are those cities or regions that have expressed potential interest in hosting the Games. To date, 4 national Olympic committees have expressed interest, though Spain and Canada later withdrew. The remaining 2 interested sites are as follows. Salt Lake City, Utah, United States, site of the 2002 Olympic Winter Games, the 2002 Paralympic Winter Games and the 2007 Winter Deaflympics. In December 2018, the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee named Salt Lake City, Utah as America's choice for a future Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games. The Salt Lake City, Utah Committee for the Games was formed in February 2020 to pursue a bid for 2030 or 2034. The committee bolstered its engagement with athletes in governance in June 2021. Naming 4-time Olympic speed skater Catherine Rainey Norman as its chair. In February 2020, following the announcement of Sapporo's bid, the organizing committee for the Salt Lake City bid was considered moving their intention to bid for the 2034 Games, as the Summer Games are scheduled for Los Angeles in 2028. At the first meeting in June 2021, the organizing committee considered whether it should change the bid for 2030 or 2034. The decision for Salt Lake City on the bidding for 2030 or 2034 Winter Olympics could be made after Beijing 2022 ending. President and Chief Executive of the Salt Lake City Bid Committee Fraser Bullock mentioned that the small window between the Los Angeles 2028 and a potential Salt Lake City 2030 Games could be a real difficulty to manage, and that the feasibility study for this is still ongoing. The IOC sent a delegation to Salt Lake City, from April 27 to 29, 2022, to conduct an inspection and a technical site visit of the competitions, ceremonies, and Olympic Village venues. Salt Lake City, Utah Committee for the Games Chief Executive Fraser Bullock confirmed at a meeting on November 1, 2022 that SLC considers the upcoming process is focused on 2030 and SLC will fully participate in that process to hopefully get either the 2030 or 2034 Olympics. Sapporo, Hokkaido, Japan, host city of the 1972 Winter Olympics, the marathon and race walking events at the 2020 Summer Olympics and the 1986, 1990 and 2017 Asian Winter Games along the 1991 Winter Universiade. Developments. An internal source from IOC has mentioned that the 2030 and 2034 Winter Games could be awarded simultaneously at the next IOC session, but IOC President Thomas Bach has ruled out that possibility because it would not be the right thing to do. Bid details.